the resurgent Marauders, led by the strong arm of Myer, finished undefeated in Division 1. For Notre Dame's Ryan Ravizolo, it's been the worst of times. A promising season cut short by a broken leg in Week 3. Always a leader on the field, Ryan is now the emotional rallying point for a Notre Dame team that in recent years has been long on potential and short on intensity. His replacement, Loris Lachetta, leads the second-place Fighting Irish into battle today. A championship edition of the athletic department is next. High school. Years of hard work and heartache. Wins and losses. Agony and aspiration. And the best time of your life.
Good afternoon and welcome to Myer Secondary School in Niagara Falls as Rogers Community 10 Niagara presents the Senior Boys Football Championship for Division 1. I'm Jim Gould, joined by Jeff Girardat. The opponents today for the Myer Marauders, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, two teams who have turned their programs around.
They really have, Jim. For Myer, they went 4-0-1 this year, undefeated in the regular season. But if they don't win this game today, this season means absolutely nothing. John Kronemeyer, the quarterback of Myer, had an excellent season, and he's got a lot of good receivers that he can throw the ball to today.
For the Fighting Irish out of Welland, a big turnaround for their program as they went 0-5 last year. This year, back to the Division 1 final.
4-1 this year. Rick Oreskovich, the head coach, has done an outstanding job. They've got a great power running game. It should be interesting to see the passing versus the running for Myer versus Notre Dame.
Jeff earlier prepared some highlights from semi-final action. We'll check out and see how the Myer Marauders and the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame won their semi-final games to meet here for the Division 1 final.
At Myer, John Kronemeyer completed 15 passes in a 27-15 victory over Dennis Morris. Myer jumped out to an early lead in the first quarter and added to that lead when Kronemeyer found Andrew Johnson, who high-stepped it into the end zone from 27 yards out. Myer also had an effective running game throughout the afternoon. Here, Victor Liu rumbles 12 yards on this carry that set up another Myer score, and they led 20-1 at the half. A second-half comeback by Dennis Morris fell short, and Myer advanced to the finals for the first time since 1989. At Notre Dame, the Irish put an end to Wesleyan's Division I supremacy with a 13-0 victory. The Irish were without quarterback Ryan Ravizolo, who was out with a broken leg, but received a lift from the defense when Nick DeGaetano returned this interception for a touchdown. Notre Dame led 7-0. This field goal from the foot of Ryan Nava made the score 10-0. Wesleyan quarterback Ed Dawson was picked off yet again by DeGaetano, and his second pick of the day set up the Irish's final score that paved the way to today's showdown. I'm joined by the head coach of the Myer Marauders, Wayne Devitt. Wayne, another cold day here for a football game. How is that going to affect your passing game today?
As long as the wind stays down, it probably won't hurt us too much. But if the wind comes up, like it can here with the crosswind we get, it could play havoc.
You've had a great season so far this year, 4-0-1. What have you told your team going into today's game to maintain their composure?
Basically, they're 4-0-1. If we're a first-place team, if we lose, that's no disgrace. But if we win, that's a bonus.
And last week, Andrew Johnson got hurt against Dennis Morris. Can you update us on his status and how he will play today?
Andrew sprained his ankle fairly badly in that game, and he's been going to Brock University for physio all week. There's been improvement. We've got him taped up real good, and he'll play. How much he'll play depends on how much pain he can stand, I suppose, because it's a real painful injury.
Wayne Devitt, thanks very much. Best of luck in today's final. For the Notre Dame side of the story, let's go over to Jim Gould.
Thanks a lot, Jeff. We're joined right now by Notre Dame head coach Rick Oreskovich. Rick, a big turnaround coming off of last year when you went 0-5. This year, find yourself 4-1 and in the Division I final. What was the key to the turnaround?
Well, the first game of the season when we won that game against Centennial. The kids at that point, if we wouldn't have won that game, I'd hate to think what would have happened to us. We had a good team last year. We lost some tough games, close games. And I think if we would have won a few of them, it would have turned the whole season around. Unfortunately, we didn't. This year, it's basically the same team that we have out here. The kids are 1 year better in terms of experience. They're stronger, they're a little bit faster, more mature, and we haven't made those same mistakes, knock on wood, that we've made last year.
What's it going to take for you to pull out a win today?
Like I was telling the other coach, I think the team, we're so evenly matched. Myer's a very strong team. They execute very well. The team that makes the least amount of mistakes in terms of fumbles, penalties, should be the team that wins.
Will the cold weather today affect your play calling?
Geez, I hope not. It's hard to say. It depends how the quarterback's hands are, if he goes for the pass. Depends how warm they are themselves in terms of muscles and that. Hopefully it won't. I want to hopefully run the ball well on them tonight if we can, and if not, we'll have to do something else, I guess.
Well, thanks a lot for joining us, and we'll be back with the opening kickoff for the Division I Senior Boys Football Championship game in just a moment. Championship fever alive and well at Myer Secondary School. I'm Jim Gould, joined by Jeff Girodat as we prepare for the Senior Boys Division I Football Championship game. The Myer Marauders hosting the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Myer will start the game kicking it away. The Irish await the ball.
One of the big stories of the game, Jim, is who's going with the wind, who's going against it. I talked to Wayne Devitt earlier on the game, and he talked about Myer's passing game. Depending on the wind, that's going to alter their passing game definitely. Each team going to have to go 2 quarters with the wind to their back.
Lawrence Panetta kicks it away. Fielded deep in Irish territory. That picked up by Nat Mastroianni. He'll run it up the far sideline before he's stopped by the Marauder defense. And the Irish offense takes the field, led by second-string quarterback Loris Lucetta, filling in quite admirably for Ryan Ravizolo, who was lost to the Irish earlier this season.
You know, Jim, we talked about the win before the game and just now. You know, this game may come down to a game of field position. If neither team can get a lot of scores, if you can pin that team back into their own zone, you can do a pretty good job, and a lot of points may not have to be scored today to win today's ball game.
Loris Lucetta, the Irish quarterback, number 15. 3 backs join him in the backfield, 2 wideouts. Lucetta fakes the handoff. He'll pitch it out wide. This is Santo Stefano coming over the right side through the defense. Finally dragged down by Rob Mikic, but not before a 20-yard gain for Santo Stefano. The Irish move the chains on their first carry.
Notre Dame's always done a good job doing the option. That time they did it, ran it perfectly. Rod Mikic coming over, he's a great middle linebacker. He's the defensive captain on Myer. They're going to need a big game from Rod Mikic if they want to win today.
1st and 10 Irish from their own 49-yard line. Tim Ravizolo is the lead back. Sorrenti and Santo Stefano also in the backfield. This is Sorrenti, left side. He carries ahead for about 7 yards on the first down play.
You know, Jim, with Ryan Ravizolo out and Loris Lucetta, and you got to wonder, you know, you don't think it's a good idea that Ravizolo got a broken leg, obviously, but you got to be Notre Dame. You got to be happy that it happened earlier on in the season so that Lucetta could get some sets with the main offense. So that's got to get his confidence up a little bit more in the final game here.
Second down play for the Irish, now in Myer territory, just over the 55-yard line. Steve Smith in motion to the left side. Lucetta hands it off. Santo Stefano plunges ahead. He looks as though he has enough for the first down.
3 running plays in a row. You kind of figure what Notre Dame wants to do today, just run the ball down Myers' throats, take a lot of time off the clock. The more time Notre Dame's offense is on the field, the less time John Kronemeyer has to throw the football.
Santo Stefano's carry gets the first down as Nava comes in motion to the right side. Lucetta's going to put it up, flag down on the play. Lucetta forced to scramble out of the pocket, chased by the Myer defense. Lucetta with a lot of room down the far sideline finally takes it out of bounds. But a flag back down at the original line of scrimmage.
It's offside on Myer. Play's going to count.
The penalty, your first down up here. Okay?
Thought maybe Steve Smith got a jump on the offensive
Got a number,
play,
Dickie?
but penalty goes against Myer.
Okay, offside, 51, decline, first down.
Irish will decline the penalty. They'll take that gain from Loris Lucetta on the nice run. Now the Irish operate 1st and 10 deep inside Myer territory. Lucetta hands off. Tim Ravizolo stacked up at or near the line of scrimmage, another flag down. Penalty goes against Myer.
It's the second offside call in a row.
First down.
Jim, not only is this an important drive for Notre Dame, it's always also important for A and Myer because they haven't really been tested a lot this year. They've had a couple close games. At DM, they tied 15-15. Here about a month ago, they beat Notre Dame on a last single point, 8-7. But they have to show that they can play defense against this Notre Dame team. Notre Dame can get a lot of confidence if they score here on their opening drive.
1st and 5 for the Irish on the penalty. Lucetta pitches it back. Santo Stefano trying to get around the corner, and he's stacked up there by the Myer defense. Jeff July in there to make the initial stop. Rob Mikic also helping out on the tackle.
You know, right now Notre Dame's doing a great job. They're mixing their plays up. They're doing a lot of running plays, but they're going inside and they're going outside, keeping the Myer defense off balance.
Santo Stefano gains about 2 on the carry. It'll be 2nd and 3. Three wideouts into the game for the Irish. Lucetta hands it off. Santo Stefano plunging through the middle before he gets stacked up.
You know, Jim, usually when you think Myer Notre Dame, you think of a basketball final, but it's good to see that these two schools can get their football programs back on track. The last time Myers won the senior titles way back in 1988, so they would like nothing more to get that monkey off their back. A 7-year hiatus between high school championships. That's what they're looking for here today.
They'll bring it out in measure on the 2nd down carry for Santo Stefano. Lucetta heads over to the sidelines to talk to the coaching staff.
Looks like they're a little bit short, maybe a couple inches.
They'll bring up a 3rd and inches.
Third down.
Big 3rd down play here for the Myer defense.
Good idea, hey, yeah.
Hand off quickly to Ravizolo.
I don't know if you got it, Jim. That was a good stack at the line.
Going to be close. 4th down. He didn't get it.
Now, what if you do if you're Notre Dame? I say you got to go for it. You're pin Myer in bad field position, regardless if you don't get the first down. You got to expect you're going to get at least half a yard on a running play because they've been successful running the ball so far today. You figure they got to go for it, but I think they've just called a timeout.
Lucetta not sure. He's going to check with the coaching staff. The 4th and inches. The Irish on their opening drive of the game. Taking it down inside the Myer 20. Now it's decision time.
And I think there's going to be a lot of decisions in this game. The last time these two teams played, it was a great football game, a pouring rain outside, so it's not raining today, but it's not as cold as we expected either, so it's going to be interesting to see which team has the upper hand. Myer won the first game, but I don't think that's any indication of how this game can go.
Fourth down and short. The Irish will go. 3 backs in the backfield behind Lucetta. All of them in motion, and they pitch it to Stefano. It's going to be very close. They'll bring the chains in to measure.
Well, Stefano made a good move at the line to get away from number 85, Jeff July there. That might have been enough for the first down.
I don't think so. I don't think it is either.
Chains come all the way in from the other side of the field. Myer defense sticks. 4th down and inches, and a 3rd down inches play as well. The Myer defense stops the Irish offense. No score. Myer with their first offensive possession, and the offense out there in a hurry.
Championship games are made of big plays, and that's the first big play. Knock it down for Myer. 2 stops with inches to go for a first down for Notre Dame, and they stop it.
John Kronemeyer now settles under center. Myers' first offensive possession of the day. Hand off into the backfield and a big run for John Lang. Finally dragged down, but not before picking up 15 and a first down.
Now number 12, Steve Smith, dragged him down in the backfield, but for Myer, not only is that a good run, it gives them some breathing room from their own goalpost, get them out of that dangerous area within the 20-yard line.
First and 10 for Kronemeyer. They'll pitch it out. Lang again with the carry. This time he's taken down in the backfield. Anthony Stefano in there on the stop for the Irish.
Brad Noyes also doing a good job containing them, getting back into the middle and keeping them behind the line of scrimmage. It's going to be a loss down, or excuse me, a loss of yards.
2nd and 11. Kronemeyer pitches it to Lang around the right side. Can't get around the corner and stacked up by the Irish defense after a short gain.
3rd down.
3rd and 11 coming up to a passing down. Kronemeyer, this is what he likes, to air the ball out. So far they've gone with running plays. Maybe Myer wants to get the running plays off to a good start because they know their passing game has been there all year long. They're going to have to get that running game so they can go to one or the other depending how Notre Dame plays their defense today.
Big 3rd down and 9 play for the Marauders. Kronemeyer's favorite target, Andrew Johnson, not in the game at this point. Stefano drops back. Kronemeyer's going to put it in the air. Pass is completed to John Adams. But it won't be enough for a first down. 4th down for the Marauders.
Good open field tackle there by number 46, Steve Valovich. It's going to be about 4th and 5, Jim. They're going to have to punt it away, so a big defensive stop for Notre Dame. Both defenses coming up big so far in the first quarter here today.
Kronemeyer also handling the punting duties for the Marauders. He's set to kick this one away. A nice kick for Kronemeyer, fielded by Nava. And he gets it up over the Notre Dame 50, close to midfield, where the Irish will take over their second possession of the day.
Well, Jim, all game long so far and in the pregame we've talked about the weather conditions and how they will be a factor of today's game. The wind is a little bit swirling here, but not as much as we expected.
Now the wind is down and that'll help both teams, but the temperature is definitely not up. It's very chilly here at Myer this afternoon. I'm sure that will play into this game somewhere along the lines. Lucetta on first down, hands off to Stefano. He's stacked up at the line, picked up maybe a yard before Mikic made contact.
Well, both teams running the ball so far. We talked about the temperature definitely down. We've got to wonder possibly if it is cold, how that's going to affect the receiver's hands. And if they haven't wore gloves all year long, you can't just come into a championship game and put gloves on your hands and expect everything to feel comfortable, because obviously there's going to be a change.
Second down, Irish. A yard short of midfield. Sorrenti gets maybe to midfield before he gets stacked up.
Hey, third down, Dave.
BJ Volpato there for the stop.
Third down.
Myer looking a little bit better on this defensive situation than they have in the first series by Notre Dame, allowing them to get all the way downfield before finally putting in prevent defense and stopping them at 3rd and 4th and inches. Another big third down for the Irish.
3rd and 7. Lucetta's going to go to the air. Tried to find Santostefano on the screen pass. Falls incomplete. 4th down, Notre Dame. They'll have to punt it away.
And they had that set up perfectly too. He had 2 blockers right in front of him. You don't know how many yards he could have got in front of that as well. So they had that set up perfectly, but the pass didn't click.
Okay, 33-5-7. You got it, Murph?
And on the near side, Ryan Nava was wide open, but Lucetta couldn't find him. Had Santostefano on his mind and just missed him with the pass. 4th down, 2 onside men for the Irish. And a high snap, Santostefano gets the kick away. Takes a Notre Dame bounce before it's fielded by Jamie July. He's taken down, a flag down on the play.
Well, with that bad snap, number 78 of Myer, Kevin Ford, was allowed to get in there. I don't know how he missed that. I think that went right through his arms.
No yards? Okay, we're going up 15 from the flag. No yards. Number 88, Notre Dame. First down.
Penalty goes against Notre Dame on the play, so the Marauders will get great field position to start their second drive.
You know, it's not a good idea for the defensive team to let the ball bounce on a punt, but if you do, sometimes you get that guy stuck in that 5-yard distance that you have to keep, and sometimes it's not as bad of a play as other people think.
1st and 10 from the 44 for Kronemeyer. Quick give up the middle. Picks up maybe 2 yards on the carry.
A lot of hard hitting going down there on the field right now. You know, these two teams are just love to play against each other. Great rivalry over the years, whether it's basketball or football. These two teams, I don't think it's number 1 versus number 2. You can't get any better than that. I don't think they would want it any other way.
2 best teams in the league meet in the championship game. That's the way it works in any league. Or the ideal way it works in any league. 2nd down for Myer. And this time they give it to Lang, and he picks up the 1st down, jamming forward for about 8 yards.
Yeah, Nick DiGaetano right there with a great open field tackle. If he wasn't there, who knows how many yards he could have got, but another 1st down for the Marauders.
First quarter, no score of this senior boys Division I championship football game, as the Marauders are in Irish territory for the first time this afternoon. Kronemeyer hands it off to Liu. Around the corner on the right side, and Vic Liu picks up about 7 on that carry.
Hey, John Kronemeyer hasn't been throwing the ball that often today. He's only thrown it once, but if the running game's working, you might as well stick with it until something goes wrong.
Second and 3. Some motion in the Marauder backfield and a quick give up the middle, sold well by Kronemeyer.
Well, Notre Dame did a good job there for and Myer. They've been putting 3 men in the backfield, so they must know that Notre Dame must realize that A. Myer is going to run the ball. They don't have any wideout, so unless Kronemeyer rolls out, he's not going to be throwing the ball.
the sideline marker says 4th down. It'll be 4th and less than a yard. They give it to Lang, and he's got the first down.
1 for 1 on 4th down conversions. Last week against Dennis Morris, Myer did a great job on 4th down conversions, converting 2 of them in the second half, keeping their drives alive and not putting the
First and 10, Myer. Oh, whistle's blown on the field.
Who's the king?
And that will signal the end of the first quarter. Still no score between the A. Myer Marauders and the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame.
Well, the first quarter always a tough issue. You want to get the nerves out of your system. Both teams haven't played in the final for quite some time. I think both coaches right now, they have to be pretty pleased of what's going on. If they can just stay even with each other for the first quarter, not make too many mental mistakes, I think both teams are going to be okay for the second half.
First down and 10. Kronemeyer's going to put it up. As Vince Bagnulo coming out of the backfield. Short gain on the play, second down.
Number 88, Emilio Presti, doing a great job reading that pass. Kronemeyer likes to make that pass, a little 5 to 7 pass over the middle. He's got some good tight ends. Notre Dame read it very well on that play.
Bagnulo in motion. Kronemeyer pitches it out to Lang. Lang dives forward for a couple. Jamie July and Vic Liu are split wide to the left. Kronemeyer pitches it back to Lang. Lang on the halfback option, looking for July. Off the face mask. Sold the play well, and Lang had July open down the left sideline, unable to connect. 4th down, Myer.
We got a replay coming up, Jim. We'll watch it here on the monitor, but as soon as Lang went out wide, you knew after 4 steps that he was going to throw the ball, because usually a running back won't go out that wide unless he wants to throw the balls, and that's what he did.
Kronemeyer will kick it away for Myer. Nava's deep in the Irish end zone. And that's not going to make it to the end zone. Picked up by Nava and then fallen upon immediately by the Marauder punt coverage team. So the Irish will be pinned deep, their first possession of the second quarter.
Well, as I said earlier, this game may come down to a game of field position. You think that last play by Myer there on the halfback option, do you think that was possibly a play put in just for this game? I've yet to see that this year by Myer.
We didn't see that in their earlier meeting that we had on the Rogers Community 10 Athletic Department against Holy Cross. But one of the big passing weapons they did use that day was using the tight end a lot, on, especially on a post pattern, moving to the outside. Andrew Johnson unable to play today due to a sprained ankle. He is dressed and may see action, but is not starting. Lucetta hands the ball off to Santo Stefano, and he's stacked up by the Myer defense.
Yeah, as the game goes on, I wouldn't be surprised if both coaches have a few tricks up their sleeve for this championship game today. These teams know each other pretty well over the years. They know their tendencies. Nothing like changing those tendencies.
Mason Woodruff and Lawrence Panetta on the stop. Second down, Notre Dame. Lucetta taken down in the backfield. Contact made there. Mason Woodruff, the first player there for the Marauder defense. He wrapped up Lucetta.
I'm not sure if that was a broken play or what, but it didn't work very well. Myer's done a great job playing defense so far throughout the game, and this is going to come to a defensive battle, it seems.
Timeout called by the A.N. Myer Marauders. The Marauder defense will come over and talk things over with head coach Wayne Devitt. Obviously, with a big third down play here deep in Irish territory, he wants to make sure that they hold here.
Yeah, this really is a big play for the Myer defense, but probably a bigger play for the Notre Dame offense. They have to get some field position here. They got to move the ball up quickly and get this ball out of their own territory.
Lucetta hands the ball off. It's loose on the ground. Lucetta able to cover it up, but the Irish will lose a couple of yards all the way back to the original line of scrimmage, 4th and 10. The Irish now pinned deep.
Well, we still got about 6 or 7 weeks of the holiday season, but Loris Lucetta got his first Christmas present awful early. That bounced right back up into his hands, and that could have been very, very crucial for the Notre Dame defense.
Santa Stefano, weak kick. Jeff July picks it up at the 50. And he'll take it down the right side. Nava unable to wrap him up, but Santa Stefano with a big lick takes July out of the field. But the Marauders now start 1st and 10 with some great field position, and the home side starting to get a little revved up here.
They certainly are, and they have good reason too. That was a huge lick on the side, but July got an extra 10, 12 yards on there because there was a great block by number 21, Mike O'Connor, that freed him along the outside to get a few more yards.
First and 10 from the 30 for Kronemeyer. Jamie July in motion. Kronemeyer gonna air it out to July. Nice catch. And picks up a couple more after the catch.
Well, here's a replay on the punt return. Here comes a big hit. July running it up along the right side. He just gets clocked.
Second and short for Myer, and Vic Liu's got it on the right side. Nice spin move to get around Steve Smith and pick up the first down. The Marauders knocking on the door.
Well, another great run by Myer there, but while we're showing that replay, we didn't give the credit on that last catch. You talk about concentration. You got two guys all over you, cold weather, over the shoulder catch. That's a great grab.
First and goal. Kronemeyer with 3 backs behind him. Now Vic Liu goes in motion. Kronemeyer hands off to Lang. Lang gets around the corner, lost the handle on the ball. They say he was down by contact before it came loose.
Well, each team's had a fumble so far, and each team is very lucky to return it, or to get it back in their possession, so they're 1-1 all tied up in that category. Myer still has a chance to put some points on the board.
Second and goal from the 1. Kronemeyer wants to talk things over. 6 minutes left to go in the second quarter. 6 minutes, 4 seconds.
Now, even though we're at Myer, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish flags are flying high wherever you go in the city of Niagara Falls and Welland. Great support for both these teams. Another great crowd on hand. There was a good crowd on hand at the Stanford St. Mike's Division II game yesterday, with Stanford winning that game. Congratulations goes out to the Hornets. It's been a while since they've had a championship football team there as well.
And you've got a highlight package prepared for the halftime of this game, where you'll see the Stanford Hornets and the St. Michael's Mustangs. Highlights from the Division II final. Here in the Division I championship final, no score. The A.N. Myer Marauders, 2nd and goal from the 1. After the timeout, Kronemeyer lines things up. They hand it off to Lang, in for the touchdown. The Marauders are on the board.
Well, that's what you call just straight power running by the fullback, Jim, right up the middle. Good job by Myer, a nice drive. They got some good passes in there as well. John Lang does a great job just running it up the gut. Myer leads 6-0.
They'll kick the extra points from the end zone due to the field condition in front of the goalpost. Ryan Sills will hold as Lawrence Panetta will try to add to the lead. That's up and through, and the A.N. Myer Marauders lead this Division I football championship 7-0. Just under 6 minutes left to play in the first half.
You mentioned about the bad field conditions at both end zones around the 5-yard line. That's because they've been playing soccer here all summer long. I had this conversation with head coach Tom Sills earlier on in the season of A.N. Myer, and he said there's nothing you can do about it. So that was the only thing we can do to make it even for both teams. But I tell you, in the last 2 days, I've seen everything. I've seen extra points kicked from the end zone into the playing field here at Myer. Yesterday, you don't want to kick the extra point onto Drummond Road, so what they do at Stanford is they bring it all the way back into the other end. So as far as extra points are concerned, I've seen it all in the last 48 hours.
Trust me, I've driven down Drummond Road when an extra point comes sailing over the fence, and that'll scare a lot of people. Lawrence Panetta will kick it away for the Marauders, leading 7-0. Nice kick. Some tough grab for Nat Mastriani. He finally picks it up, tries to bring it up through the middle before he gets steamrolled. James Bartlett in there with a big hit to take down Mastriani.
James Bartlett from one side, Sean Cleaver from the other as the sun comes out here at Myer. We talked about the playing conditions all day long. It's turned out to be a great day for a football game.
It'll be 1st and 10 Irish from their own 27-yard line. Lucetta will try and put Notre Dame on the board. Takes the handoff, he'll put it in the air, caught by Smith. Down the near side before he's taken out of bounds by Panetta. Good enough for the first down, the Irish move the chains.
Well, Steve Smith is a very able receiver. You may remember from our first game of the year on Rogers Community 10. He was our MT Bellies player of the game. Just had an outstanding day with a couple of touchdowns with a big 35-0 win over Centennial. So he is definitely a go-to guy for the Irish today.
And had a couple of plays called back on penalties in that game as well. 1st and 10 from their own 42. Lucetta going to the air again. Had Tim Ravizolo open, just overthrew him. Some good coverage over there from Jeff July and Rob Mikic, who were right on the spot, but the ball just out of the hands of Ravizolo.
Yeah, well, July gambled just a bit more than I think he might have wanted to, because the receiver got behind him, and if he was to make that catch, he would have been gone for 6. There was nothing between him and the goalpost, and July slipped a little bit there too on the far side of the field, so he lost his footing, but luckily for Myer, nothing happened there.
Second down play. After coming out running, the Irish have thrown the last 2 downs. This time they'll run Santo Stefano. Can't get around the corner, picks up a few yards on the play. Third down, a big third down for the Irish as time winds down on the first half.
Yeah, it really is. And for Myer, if they can hold Notre Dame here, they'd be in good position to go into that at half, leading 7-0. The team that comes out at halftime with the lead, is in good position to win this football game if they can keep their game plan going as expected.
And the Marauders will open with possession to start the second half. With 4:12 remaining, clock ticking away on the second quarter. A time count violation by the Irish. So what was going to be a third
You have
short
one left.
now becomes
Yeah. Okay. The
a
time
little
count.
bit longer and a
Number
little bit
15.
tougher for the Irish
Still
offense.
third down.
Yeah, they didn't need that at this juncture in the game, that's for sure. Anytime you're third and about 4 yards, that's what you want to keep it. So the time count violation, it shouldn't happen in any kind of football, whether it's high school football or whatever. But that's going to bring it down to about 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10. So they're definitely in a passing situation right here.
Line up in the regular formation. Smith and Nava split to the left. Lucetta going to go to the air. Pass interference. Lawrence Panetta with some early contact on Anthony Santo Stefano. If they mark it on the spot of the foul, it still isn't enough for the first down.
Yeah, there's no reason for that foul there, because if you watch where Panetta hit Santo Stefano, he still needed a good 4 yards, and he was right there to make the tackle anyway, so there's no need for that pass interference. Sometimes, though, when you see that ball coming towards you, you get a little bit excited.
First down on the play. Automatic first down on the pass interference call. So the Irish catch a break. Lawrence Panetta with some early contact on Santo Stefano. Now the Irish have a 1st and 10 at their 46.
And Notre Dame's got life. We'll have to see if they can use it to their advantage here with a new set of downs.
Lucetta to Santo Stefano. He's going to put it in the air. Smith's open. Just over the outstretched arms of Steve Smith. Second down, Notre Dame.
Missed it by about a foot. Monkey see, monkey do. We saw Myer do that earlier on in the game. Notre Dame coming right back a few series of downs later on, and they had him too. It's just a matter of the ball being overthrown.
Steve Smith was behind the defense. Unfortunately, the ball just a little overthrown.
By the trick plays we've seen so far today, you've got to wonder if Wayne Devon and Rick Oreskovich were sitting up late last night together, maybe making up those own plays, because we've seen the same one from both teams.
3 receivers now for the Irish. Presti is the third, lined up to the right. Lucetta hands it off up the middle. Santo Stefano carries ahead for about 6. Three minutes left to play in the second quarter.
It's another huge third down for the Irish offense. Jim Myer gave him one last time. Let's see if they can suck it up here and stop him and get Notre Dame to punt away. Myer can maybe get some more points on the board, or at least take some more time off the clock before the half ends.
Lucetta to the air. Almost hit in the backfield. Underthrows Smith.
And you see Panetta that time, he was within about 2 feet of Smith, and he put his hands up saying, not me, Mr. Referee, not this time.
Tight coverage, just
33
not too
and
tight.
57.
And after the first time you get a
33 and
penalty too, you may be
57.
a little bit hesitant to, be as aggressive as you are going to be usually, because you've had that first penalty called against you. So sometimes you tend to be a bit too lenient.
Bad snap on the punt. Santo Stefano's got to chase it back. Ford had a shot at him. Now Santo Stefano tries to run and runs into a brick wall. PJ Volpato finally takes him down. So with only a few minutes left to play here in the second quarter, the Marauders have a chance now to maybe put a few more points on the board, although there is a flag down on the play. The penalty goes
Your ball
against
here, or
the
their
Irish.
ball, 4th down over 5 yards back.
I think we'll take the ball, sir.
You take the ball?
Thank you very much.
All right. We got procedure, no end, decline, 1st down.
The Marauders decline. They'll take the ball, 1st and 10.
Well, that's the third bad snap we've seen for Notre Dame so far. That was the only one that seemed to get away, though. And boy, I mean, I can speak from experience when there's a bad snap. I used to be a snapper in high school, and it's a tough job. They don't get enough credit as they should. But boy, you can really punish your team if there's a bad snap, and Notre Dame just did that right now, and they can't afford this right now with only a few minutes to go in the second quarter.
Instead of giving the Marauders the ball, possibly hemming them back in Myer territory, they've given them a 1st and 10 from the Notre Dame 40. Kronemeyer fakes the give to Lang. He's going to put it in the air. Almost picked off. He was looking for Lang coming out of the backfield, but Rory McDonald was right there. The ball goes through his hands, 2nd down.
Yeah, that was more of a jump ball than a pass, actually, because a couple guys could have, if they were facing Kronemeyer, they could have had a chance at that.
Vic Liu goes in motion. Kronemeyer's going to the air again. He's got July. Can't hang on to the ball. Good coverage by Tim Ravizolo as Jamie July can't hang on.
Yeah, Ravizolo did a good job there on the defense. He made the route between the pass and the player. If he went right to the player, July might have been able to slip away from him or use him as a defender, put his body between him and the ball and make the catch. But Ravizolo took the right route. An incomplete pass, going to be 3rd down and 10.
Kronemeyer fakes the give, rolls right. Overthrows Bagnulo. Emilio Presti there in coverage. And a 4th down for the Marauders.
Well, the running game so far has been pretty effective for Myer, and then they come out here, they can take some time off the clock and put in one more score before the halftime, and they end up throwing 3 times, so I'm not sure, what their thinking was there, but they could have taken some time off the clock, and you only need one good pass from a guy like Kronemeyer to pick up another 1st down and move the chains.
Nava sets up to take this Kronemeyer punt at just outside his goal line. Nava picks it up and gets hammered.
Well, there's Kronemeyer walking back to the bench, number 9. Rory McDonald, after the kick, took a little bit of shot at Kronemeyer.
Yeah,
I just saw
gotcha.
the last part of it. Myer coach is here complaining on the sideline that there should be a late hit penalty or something like that. I'm not even sure if they're more complain about the penalty just for the safety of these players. Anytime you get a late hit like that, it definitely could injure your player. And you always tend to look out a little bit more for your quarterback more than anybody.
Well, their pleas to the referees will go to no avail. As Kevin Ford gets led off the field. Time winding down here on the second quarter. Lucetta hands it off to Sorrenti, and he gets taken down quickly.
Number 62 there, Daryl Fabiani coming up with the big hit. You've got to wonder, anytime someone hits your quarterback or anybody else after a cheap shot, it usually pumps up the team that's been hit. So you've got to wonder what kind of response Myers defense is going to have right now.
Second down for Lucetta. He's going to put it in the air. Nava, wobbling pass, O'Connor can't hang on. Nava had a shot at it as well. It falls incomplete. Third down now for Notre Dame.
Well, that was another jump ball, a little bit of air underneath that ball, and O'Connor had just as good a chance as the offensive receiver. And O'Connor had a very good game against Dennis Morris last week. He made some key tackles. He also played some great defensive ball, especially with DM. Mike O'Brien likes to air the ball as well. So he's had a lot of experience playing defensive back so far this year. He's done a great job at it.
Third and 7 for the Irish. Lang and O'Connor back deep in case of a pass. Lucetta going to go to the air, over the middle to Sorrenti. He's going to try and find the right side, jumps a couple of tackles, and then gets stood up by O'Connor. A huge hit.
Boy, I tell you, it didn't help any. We got the replay coming up here, but watch after Sereni. He hurdles the one guy, and then about 2 steps after, just gets clocked right here by O'Connor. Take a look at that, boy. That's high school football at its best right there. That's hard-hitting action.
Sorrenti still picks up the first down on the carry. The Irish continue to operate, time winding down here in the second quarter. Lucetta puts it up. Santa Stefano charging hard. The Marauders take him down. Panetta and Woodruff in there on the stop.
Yeah, anytime you can get 2 or 3 defenders on the ball carrier like that, you always like to go for the ball, especially when you pin the offense back in their own territory, try and get another fumble.
Second down play for the Irish. Lucetta again going to the air. This time has Presti cutting into the middle. He makes it up to midfield before Lang stops him in his tracks, but the Irish move the chains, first down.
Hey, the Irish are really moving the ball right now, and if you're Myer, you got to regroup on defense. You got to say, you know, what's going on here? What are they doing differently than they are not doing in the first quarter when we could stop them? Myer's got to get going here. Notre Dame right at midfield. You don't want them to get any further. Less than a minute to play in the second quarter. Notre Dame needs nothing more than a score here to get this game even going into the second half.
They'll go to the air again. Lucetta puts it up. That's caught by Santa Stefano. Now they say no, the ball skipped. Incomplete pass, second down.
Well, if you're Notre Dame and there's less than a minute left, I'm not sure what kind of yardage you're going to get with a pass like that. Unless you can get out of bounds and stop the clock, you got to go for those passes that are 10, 15 yards. Hopefully you can break a few more tackles. If you can hit Ravizzola over the middle or something like that for a gain of 15 or 20, you're going to pick up some good field position.
Myer in a prevent defense as Lucetta goes to the air. Can't hang on. Presti got his hands on the ball, but Rob Mikic in there to break it up. Number 51 for the Myer defense, one of their leaders. Another strong game for him today. 7-0 Myer, the Irish with the ball at midfield, third down, under a minute to go in the first half. .25 seconds. As Lucetta back to Santa Stefano. He'll put it in the air, back to Lucetta. That's incomplete. 4th down now for Notre Dame.
Well, 20 seconds left. Notre Dame pulling out all the stops with that play there. Maybe a bit too early to go with all your little trick plays. You know, you still got a half of football left to go. You know, 4th and 10, you're right at midfield at the 55-yard line. You got to wonder whether Notre Dame's going to, you know, try and get another pass, 10 yards, or maybe kick it away and just try and pin Myer. We'll have to see what the coaching staff of Notre Dame decides to do as Lucetta comes back into the huddle. Now, regardless if you're Myer, one thing you don't want to do is let anyone get behind you, that's for sure, you know. And that's what the Myer coaches are stressing right now on the sidelines.
4th down, Notre Dame. 20 seconds left to play in the first half. Lucetta more than likely going to the air. And Lucetta dragged down, picks up about 4 on the carry, but they'll turn it over on downs. 12 seconds left to play. Myer with the ball. They'll probably just run out the clock on the first half.
Yeah, I can imagine. They'd be pretty pleased with a 7-0 lead going into the halftime, that's for sure. That was a great play by number 78, Kevin Ford, coming from behind to make the tackle. He's the guy who got hurt earlier on in the game a few plays ago, so it's good to see that he's back in the game, playing well.
Kronemeyer just takes the snap, drops down to one knee. May have to run another play before the clock expires.
So far, Jim, it's been a pretty good half of football here in the senior boys football final here at A and Myer. Both teams playing pretty well so far. We knew it was going to be a close game. The game before they played was only a 1-point difference in favor of Myer. Right now, Myer leads 7-0 as Kronemeyer downs it again. And that's the way they're going to go to the half.
Kronemeyer kneels down. That's the end of the first half. The A and Myer Marauders lead the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame 7-0. John Lang with a 1-yard touchdown run in the second quarter. That's the only points on the board here in the Division I Senior Boys Football Championship. Right now, we'll send you to some videotape of yesterday's Division II final between the Stanford Hornets and the St. Michael's Mustangs.
A large crowd on hand at Stanford Collegiate in Niagara Falls for the Division II championship between the Hornets and the St. Mike's Mustangs. We pick things up in the second quarter with the score 6-0 Mustangs. Rob Peel of the Hornets would hook up with his favorite target Bill Crawford, who takes the ball into Mustang territory. 3 plays later, Peel and Crawford strike again, a quick 3-step drop by Peel, and he airs it out to a wide open Crawford, and Stanford is on the board. The Hornet defense is equal to the task on this day as well. This sack forces the Mustangs to punt, and Stanford scored on the ensuing drive. With the first half about to expire, Crawford and Peel shred the Mustangs with yet another long gainer before the half. St. Mike's came out fired up when play resumed. Dave Santo hauls his way into the end zone to cut the Stanford lead. St. Mike's would get their second major of the quarter here as Joe Rogers finds Jace Bodig alone in the corner of the end zone. Things were getting a little tense on the Hornets bench. With the snow starting to fall, you'd think Stanford would keep it on the ground, but no. Peel looks deep and Steve Hanley open against a St. Mike's secondary that was getting carved up like a Christmas turkey. An early fourth quarter touchdown run by Crawford would lead the Mustangs looking for a miracle. But it wasn't to be. St. Mike's hopes for the championship officially ended on this Rogers fumble. The final score, Stanford 41, St. Mike's 21. Congratulations to Rod Richards and the Stanford Hornets.
Welcome back to A.N. Myer Secondary School for the Senior Boys Division I Football Championship game. The A.N. Myer Marauders lead Notre Dame at the half, 7-0. John Lang with a 1-yard touchdown run in the second quarter gave the Marauders the lead. The Irish had an opportunity late goings of the second quarter. That stalled near midfield. The Marauders will open this third quarter and second half with the ball. Jamie July, John Lang, and Jeff July back to field the kick. Ryan Nava will start things off for the Irish. He'll send the ball away. Jamie July up the middle. Finally taken down. Neil Godet on the tackle.
Now, Jim, you've got to wonder what both coaches said to their teams at halftime. You know, they've both played a pretty good half of football so far. Not too many mistakes, a few mental mistakes here and there, the odd penalty that's cost the team. But other than that, it's been a good football game, pretty much what we'd have expected. And I expect pretty much in the second half as well. Notre Dame may have to throw the ball a little bit more should A.N. Myer hold on to this lead, and they have to get some points early on the board.
Kronemeyer hands it off to Lang. He just goes straight up the middle, picks up a couple of yards on the play.
And a couple yards right after the play, met number 44, Justin Gauthier, who did a good job filling the gut right there and met him right a couple of yards past the line of scrimmage.
Second and 7 for the Marauders. Kronemeyer hands it off. Lang around the right side. Has some room. Finally run out of bounds by Santo Stefano, but a big gain for the Marauders. First and 10 inside Notre Dame's side of the field.
Yeah, that's a good play by the Marauders too, because what they did, they set up both wide receivers on the left side of the field, and that opened the right side up a little bit more than usual. They run the ball to the right side, they take away two of the tacklers, and if he can get around that outside corner, he's got some yardage ahead of him. It seems as if some of our crowd couldn't put up with the cold weather and has taken off at halftime.
The diehard fans still here. Myer first and 10 from the Notre Dame 49. Quick handoff to Adams. He dives forward for a couple.
You know, Jim, if you're Notre Dame, I think you've got to be pretty pleased with the first half of play. There's not too many things you'd want to do differently. Luchetta threw the ball later on in the first half because they needed some yards. And during the game, that's going to boost up his confidence just a little bit more, as he's going to have to be pressured to throw the ball. He's going to have some experience in today's game.
Kronemeyer going to put it up. A flag down, gets the pass off, but just out of the reach.
I can't take two guys. I know.
John Lang.
Okay.
False start on the
Okay,
offense.
give me a Notre Dame captain.
Procedure call.
All right, we got third and about 7 or second and
Down
12.
the Irish will take the penalty. It'll
Third,
remain
7,
second
second,
down.
12.
The Marauders will be backed up closer to midfield.
Third and 7, what? It was 22 and
Yeah, if you're Myer too, you've got to be pretty pleased because Kronemeyer is throwing the ball
Decline.
pretty good today. Not as well as last week when he completed 15
procedure.
passes, but they're running.
Number 22, Myer, declined. Third down.
As I was saying, the running game has also produced some good yardage today, so they've got a couple different weapons that they may not have had earlier on in the season. They can do a lot of different things. Still have yet to see Andrew Johnson in the ball game. The way they're going now, though, it doesn't look like they're going to see him. If you thought you'd see him, you thought you would see him in the first half.
The Irish decline. It'll be third down, 7 to go for a first down. Kronemeyer to Vic Lou. Fighting hard, but met at the line of scrimmage and taken down.
All right, fourth down.
The punting unit on the
Fourth down.
field for Myer.
A little bit surprised there that Myer didn't throw the ball there. Kronemeyer with the good arm, try and find someone out in the flat for that 5 to 7 yard pass over the middle to one of their tight ends like they've been doing in the past all year long and try and get a couple more yards after a couple tackles. They decided to run the ball.
They may just try and play for field position as the sunshine has come out. Looks as though it may stay around for a little while. Kronemeyer will kick it away from midfield. Nice kick, fielded by Santostefano, a collision, and Santostefano able to cover up as the ball popped loose. John Adams was there on the spot for the Marauders, but Santostefano able to cover up. The Irish will start their first drive of the second half.
You know, you talk about crucial. Notre Dame needed nothing less than good field position here to start the second half, and that's the last thing they needed was to fumble on the punt. Boy, I tell you, if they were to lose that, Myer would have had great field position. You know, if they could have punched it in, Notre Dame would have been in very, very big trouble.
First down and 10 as Lucetta takes his team up to the line. Lucetta back to Santostefano. Santostefano with some room, running by defenders. Mike O'Connor can't catch him. Anthony Santostefano's gonna stumble. But a huge play for Notre Dame. A 50-yard run for the Irish. They've got first and 10 inside Myers' side of the field.
If that play looks familiar, remember in the first half they ran the same option with the quarterback pitching it out to the far side, and they got some excellent yards on the first play of the game. 20 yards to be exact. They did that again this time. 50 yards. You talk about big plays. That puts Notre Dame in great striking distance in Myers' territory.
That'll give the Irish a first and 10 from about the Myer 34. Lucetta keeps it himself, taken down in the backfield.
Oh, that time they tried it the other side, but there was no one for Lucetta to hand it off, so he had to put it on the hip and take it himself. Good Myer defense.
Daryl Fabiani with the initial contact to slow up Lucetta. Stopped him at the line of scrimmage, and the Marauders hold on that first down play, second down Notre Dame. Lucetta gives to Santostefano. Over the middle, taken down by Mikic, but picks up a few on the play.
In the second half last week, that's when Myer ran into a little bit of problems with DM. They had a little bit of a letdown. They were leading DM 20-1 at the half. They let them get back in the game. 27-15 was the final. They can't do that here today with the Irish pressing for a touchdown. They're going to have to hold them here and try and get some more points on the board. Notre Dame is too good of a team to die down to and roll over and hope that, you know, just your talent can win this ball game alone.
Big third down play for the Irish. They fake to give up the middle. Lucetta keeps it himself. Picked up a few yards on the play. It won't be enough for the first down. It'll bring up a fourth and short.
Is he?
Well, now I've got an interesting call. You would think, Notre Dame is going to go for it, 4th and about 2. They got some good runs on this series of downs so far. It looks like they are going to go for it.
Trailing by 7, the Irish will go 4th and 1. Smith's wide to the right. Lucetta pitches it back to Santostefano. It's on the ground, and the Marauders have the ball back. Jeff July comes up with the fumble. And the Irish drive stalls. Myer gets the ball back.
You know, when this Myer defense has to come up big, they've done it both times today. Earlier on in the first half, 3rd and inches, 4th and inches, they stopped them both times. We got the replay coming up here. Myer just does a great job on the defensive end.
See Lucetta try to pitch it back as he was being tackled. The ball in behind Santa Stefano. First and 10 as Lang gets the carry.
Well, too, if you're Notre Dame, you got to wonder how many more chances are we going to get field position like that on A&M Myers defense. You know, we can't keep doing that. Can't keep turning the ball over once by a fumble, once on downs in the first half. Boy, you're going to run out of possessions like that very, very quickly in a championship game.
Loss of a yard on the play. It's 2nd and 11. Kronemeyer to the air. Right through the hands of John Adams.
Probably didn't help that he heard some footsteps from number 46, Steve Valovich, out in the flat on Kronemeyer's left side.
4:56 left to go in this third quarter. Big third down play for Myer. Vic Liu goes into motion. Kronemeyer straight up the middle to Lang. Now he'll try to bust it outside. Taken down by Steve Smith. Maybe enough for a first down. It'll be close. But not that close.
Well, after Notre Dame's offense gave the ball up, their defense does a good job shutting Myer down. They're saying, come on, boys, let's get back in this. We need a touchdown. We got to tie this game up. They're going to get decent field position again as long as they handle the punt properly.
Kronemeyer to kick it away. Nice high kick. Santa Stefano settles under. Bulldogs forward across midfield before he's taken down by James Peterson. Notre Dame will be trying to get their offense into gear. They've looked good through this first half and into the third quarter. They've been able to move the ball. Just some inopportune plays. They've been getting stalled and unable to put any points on the board. Lucetta back to Santa Stefano. He'll take it over the right side. Tries to cut back and is swarmed by a purple pile. Ball came loose, but after Santo Stefano already on the ground, Mikic was there to pick it up.
And Santo Stefano had two good blockers in front of him too, but that play looked a little bit slow developing. That was the reason why Myer was able to come back over and clog that play up along the side.
Second down, Notre Dame. Just inside Myer territory. Lucetta to the air. July with some pressure. Lucetta dekes that. Puts it up. Smith can't hang on. He got a hand on the ball, and O'Connor there with another big hit for him. Knocks Steve Smith away from the ball. It falls incomplete. Third down, and there's an injured Irish player on the play. Jeremy Townsend picks himself up off the field.
What a great play by O'Connor, though, because as soon as Steve Smith got his hands on the ball, he decked and made sure he wasn't going to get the rebound because it went up in the air. And if Smith wasn't going to get it, nobody was going to get it. What a great defensive play by Mike O'Connor. That's about his third. He had the big hit earlier on. That's his third great play of the day so far.
3rd and 9 for the Irish. Myer defense has to be thinking pass at this point. Lucetta fakes the give, drops back, puts it into the air. The screen pass for Santo Stefano not there. 4th down coming up. The Irish forced to punt it away.
You know, I think Notre Dame was forced to pass there, but Lucetta doesn't take a 3 or 5 step drop like Kronemeyer does, or your average quarterback. He drops back 10 yards. That's going to be too much to pass, because now he's got to make it a 20-yard pass instead of a 10-yard pass out into the flat or something like that. And you're making your gain twice as much as you would for a normal drop.
Well, even on the screen pass there, attempt to Santo Stefano, he's still got to throw the ball 15, 20 plus yards on a screen.
2 guys onside, past the kicker.
Just over a minute left to play here in this 3rd quarter as Santo Stefano gets the punt away. Picked up by Jamie July. July plunges forward for a few. Under a minute to go in the 3rd quarter. Time for maybe 1 or 2 plays from the Myer offense before both teams will switch sides for the final quarter of this championship game. Myer leading Notre Dame 7-0.
And for Myer, it'll be the 12th slowest minutes of football they've ever played. 12 minutes between them and a Division I championship. The first time they have had a championship since 1988.
Kronemeyer back to pass on 1st down. Nobody there. Is some confusion between Kronemeyer and his receivers. Jamie July, the nearest receiver to the field, but he broke his route inside instead of outside.
So I think it was just a miscommunication between Kronemeyer and Jamie July. They're both on the right page. I'm not sure who ran the wrong route, or if Kronemeyer decided to throw outside and thought July was going outside, obviously, but
2nd down and 10. Kronemeyer chased in the backfield, puts it up for Vic Liu, overthrows him. Kronemeyer unable to click. It's now 3rd down. This will be the last play of the 3rd quarter. Kronemeyer tosses it back to Lang. Check that, it ends up in the hands of Jamie July. And he gets it near a 1st down. They'll have to bring the chains out to measure.
now from here, Jim, I don't think they got it. I still think they're going to be maybe a yard, 2 yards short. The marker is between the 2 lines, and I think they just got over the 50-yard line, so they're still going to need maybe a yard or 2. They'll bring the chains out to check.
Okay, now where are we? 51 coming out, so we have 4th and 1 on the 51 coming out, right over here. 4th!
4th down and 1 to start the 4th quarter.
That's
now
right.
leading 7-0. Do you go for it or do you kick the ball away?
No, we have the opportunity of second guessing here, so we're okay. But for the Myer coaches, this is going to be a huge play. 4th and 1. If they go for it, they can move it up towards midfield. If not, they pin Notre Dame deep in their own territory and rely on their defense one more time to put a huge stop in the 4th quarter.
Well, they rush up to the line. 4th and 1. And they're going to go for it. Kronemeyer keeps it himself.
It's going to rely on the spot. I don't think they got it, Jim. We'll have to wait until the chains come out once again. I'm surprised Myer didn't maybe do a long count, try and get Notre Dame offside.
Daddy.
You gotta,
They'll bring the
gotta
chains
help
out
me,
to
guys.
measure yet again.
I can't spot a ball like that.
Fourth down run. Kronemeyer kept it himself.
More that way.
Did he get enough?
More that way.
It's short.
He did not, missed it by about 3 inches.
I'm not watching
The Irish take over at the Myer 51.
Okay, I turn it.
Here it is on the replay. Kronemeyer going to do the quarterback sneak, just tries and get a good surge from his own offensive line, but it wasn't enough. About 3 lengths of the 10-yard marker was not enough. So a huge defensive stop for Notre Dame.
And a chance here for the Irish offense to get their team right back into this game. They only trail it by a touchdown as Nava carries out of the backfield. Picks up 3 or 4 on the carry, second down.
Well, now fourth quarter is probably going to come down to who wants this game most. Obviously, both teams want it, but this is why you stay after practice and do all those extra wind sprints and all the extra hitting, because that's what it's going to come down to. Who gets the best surge off the line and who executes in the big plays.
Lucetta going to follow Santa Stefano. And he's taken down in the backfield, lost the ball. And the Marauders are going to get the ball back.
Yeah, I don't know even if they recovered it, but if they touch the ball before it goes out of bounds, it's going to be Marauder ball, and I think that's what happened. There's a big scrum on the far side, and the Marauders do get it. That's what happened.
Did it go to bounds here?
Out of bounds here, it was touched here.
Okay, we're coming back to where it was touched.
Last touch.
Where's the last touch? Okay.
We'll take another look at it. Lucetta follows Santo Stefano around.
Looked like maybe July made the initial tackle, and there the ball gets loose from Lucetta. Crawling on his hands and knees, and I think that might have been number 60, Mason Woodruff, who knocked the ball out of bounds. Myer recovers. Another
Mason
huge
Woodruff
play.
in there on the play. Huge play for the Myer defense. They give their offense the ball back. Just across the midfield stripe. Kronemeyer gives off to Vic Liu. He picks up a couple on the carry before he's taken down. Neil Godet in there on the stop, as well as Nick DiGaetano. Godet comes up limping.
If Myer can get some kind of score here, I don't think Notre Dame's in too good a shape because they haven't moved the ball very well today. They haven't been able to score. If they need 2 scores in a few minutes to win this ball game, I think it's going to be very, very tough for them to come out on top here.
Kronemeyer, quick give up to the middle. Adams dives forward for about 5.
And you can be sure that Rick Oreskovich is telling his players, start going for the ball, start swiping it, because we need that ball back, and we can't afford Myer to get any kind of score. So they're going to be going for that ball. 2 or 3 guys on the ball carry, all of them going for the ball at one time.
Third down and 3 for Myer. And into the game on the near sideline, number 34, Andrew Johnson. Johnson just in there to fake. Kronemeyer scrambling on the far sideline. He's going to be taken down short of the first down, maybe have lost a yard or 2 on the play. It'll be 4th down, Myer.
It's not a bad play by Myer, though. If you put Johnson on this side, it automatically takes a tackler out if you're going to run the ball to the left side and keep Johnson on the right. Notre Dame is yet to see Johnson. Obviously, he wasn't effective. He came off the line. He just limped for about 3 feet. But if you can use him as a decoy, you can only do it once, though, because once they see him, they know he's not going to be effective, so you can just let him go. It's once or nothing.
Kronemeyer set to kick it away. Wobbling short kick. Nava will pick it up, try to make a play, and John Adams right there to make the stop. Great open field tackle for him.
Well, it wasn't a very good punt, but he got the Myer roll, that's for sure.
8:17 left to play in the game. Myer leads it 7-0. John Lang with a 1-yard touchdown run in the second quarter gave the Marauders the lead.
Boy, Jim, if you're a high school football fan in the city of Niagara Falls, St. Catharines, or Welland, you got to love high school football finals, because over the past few years, we've seen some great football games. 2 teams going at it, another one here today.
And out of this year's Division II and Division I championship games versus last year, 4 new teams. Loris Lucetta now on the bench for the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Greg Valovich in there at quarterback. Number 21. He hands off to Santa Stefano. Room for him to run on the right side. May have come close to a first down.
Now, the quarterback change is very interesting. You got to wonder what Notre Dame's coaching staff is thinking. Maybe Valovich is a better runner on the option or something like that. They've got to have something up their sleeve with, you know, going into the fourth quarter here. They've got to be thinking something different than when they had Lucetta in.
Valovich, quick give up the middle. Tim Ravizolo picks up the first down on the carry. They'll move the chains, 1st and 10 Irish.
Jim, you know what's impressed me most about this Myer defense today? They're playing without 2 of their regulars, Jason Van Horn and Greg Oliveri, both out. So you get 2 guys coming in from the second string that may not have played as many downs, obviously, as them. The first stringers all year long, and they're doing very, very good job so far today.
Valovich barks out the play. Gives off to Santa Stefano. A lot of room on the right side. Santa Stefano has the first down. A 15-yard carry gets him up to midfield. The Irish starting to move the ball.
Another great running play there by the Irish. Almost looked like the old Statue of Liberty play where you put the ball way up in the air and you bring it back down and you let the guy from the backfield take it right off your hip. Try and run to daylight, see how many yards you can get.
6 minutes left to play in the game. 1st and 10 from midfield. Valovich goes to the air for the first time. Overthrows his intended receiver, Loris Lucetta. So Lucetta not on the bench, in there as a receiver as Valovich comes in to take the snaps.
And once again, number 61 for Myer, Lawrence Panetta there with good defensive coverage. You know, if you're Notre Dame, you're pretty much in the 4-down territory for the rest of the game. You got to try and find something. As long as you're not in your own end deep, you got to pretty much go for it because you don't know how many more chances you're going to be able to get.
Can't win if you don't score. They've got to try and put the ball into the end zone. 2nd down. Sorrenti met at the line, picked up maybe a yard. Panetta and Bartlett there on the stop. Clock ticking, under 6 minutes left to play.
Well, so far, I've yet to see much of a difference from Lucetta to Valovich. Time will tell if it pays off.
Lucetta and Nava split to the left. Valovich puts it up. Panetta!
Oh,
Thought he had an interception. The official right on the spot says the ball hit the ground, an incomplete pass.
He wasn't the only one that thought he had an interception. Everybody on this side had thought he did too from the Myer side, and the fans over on this side as well. I thought he had picked it off. As soon as he caught it, he kind of juggled it on his legs a little bit there as a soccer player style, and I thought he came up with the ball.
It appeared as though Panetta kept the ball alive up in the air and then made the catch. But the official right there ruled the ball incomplete. 4th down, Notre Dame. They're going to have to go.
Well, here's a replay of the pass. We might be able to tell a little bit better. There's where he bobbled it. I'm not sure if the ball hit before he had bobbled it with his legs or not. Regardless, you have to give credit to the official for being at the right place at the right time and making the call immediately, so there was no indecision on his part.
4th down, the Irish are going to punt. Santa Stefano has had trouble with snaps earlier in the game. They'll try to get this one right on the money.
2 guys are onside for Notre Dame. They can both pick up the ball.
Another high snap. Santa Stefano fields it this time. Can't get the kick away as he runs into some trouble. Now O'Connor has a shot. Knocks Santa Stefano out of bounds. They'll turn it over on downs.
All right, way to go, Mike.
Unable to pick up the first down, but a good heads-up play to try and advance the ball. Gained 5 yards on the carry.
Yeah, once again, though, that's good containment by Mike O'Connor. He does a great job just pushing him out of bounds. As long as he doesn't get back into the middle, you know he can't run on the sidelines forever. He does a good job angling his body, getting him out of bounds. Myer retains the ball.
Clock ticking, just over 5 minutes left to play in the game. Myer offense tightens things up. Kronemeyer back to pass. Left side has a shot. Almost caught. Jamie July had a chance to pull it down. Good defensive coverage there by the Irish.
Yeah, how many times have we seen that jump ball situation today? And mostly all of them have fallen to the ground, no one being able to get a hand on it.
And the Notre Dame defense has got to be looking for the ball. Kronemeyer fakes the give to Lang, puts it in the air. Adams will catch it out of the backfield on the screen. But right there to make the stop is Steve Valovich. Allows Adams only a yard or two. 3rd down, Myer.
Little surprised Myer isn't running the ball, trying to take some time off the clock, move the chains a little bit. Everybody knows that Kronemeyer has a good arm, but I mean, you know, if the pass is incomplete, it's going to stop the clock. Also, the running game was very effective in the first half, so you know, you think they would try and go back to those plays because Notre Dame hasn't picked them up as well as they should have. If they can run the ball to both sides of the field, stretch it out a little bit, they should be okay.
Kronemeyer to the air. That's caught by Peterson for a 1st down.
And as soon as I say that, they go to the air and make a completion.
James Peterson in there at tight end, taking the place of Andrew Johnson, injured in last week's semifinal win over Dennis Morris.
Here's a replay, Kronemeyer dropping back to pass. This is the pass I was talking about earlier, a good 7 yards right up the middle. Kronemeyer very tall too, so he can see right over top of the defense, and the receivers are tall as well, so they can get that upper hand on the defense, and that makes for a good combination.
Nobody picked up Peterson off the line. He was wide open. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left to play in the game. Kronemeyer handing off. Lang weaving his way through the middle, close to another Myer 1st down.
You cannot stress how important it is for Myer to hang on to the ball right now. I know they're in Notre Dame field position, but they can ill afford to give up the ball on any kind of turnover. Turnovers have been very rare so far today. But now it's crunch time, and you've got to keep that ball in your own possession.
2nd down, Kronemeyer to the air, fakes it, gives it off to Lang. He'll take it over the left side, good enough for the 1st down, and a flag comes down on the play.
Nothing wrong. It's a game of contact.
P.J. Huggins took a late shot from one of the Notre Dame players. The flag already down on the play. 3 minutes now left to go in the game.
Okay. 31 was the number?
Big base Matthew, I think.
Okay, either give him the 1st down or back 10, 2nd down over.
I believe they would have had a first
Back
down.
10 from line of
Lang
scrimmage.
along the left side. That penalty very crucial. They'll mark it off.
One Myer before first down. Second down, repeat it.
A holding penalty against the Marauders. Turns a 2nd and 2 and a first down carry by Lang into a 2nd and 12. Looks as though some of that crowd has made their way back to A.N. Myer Secondary School to catch the end of this football game.
Into the cafeteria for a hot chocolate. They found out it was going to be a barn burner right to the end and decided to come back out and join the rest of us.
Justin Gaucher marks the yard for the Notre Dame defense. 2nd and 12. Full motion, Kronemeyer rolling right. Going deep, has July, nice catch! And he'll take it in for the touchdown! The nail in the coffin, the Marauders move up 13-0. A great catch by July as Kronemeyer rolls out to the right and finds him for the touchdown.
After the year these two guys have had, it is only justice that's how you put the nail in the coffin with a huge passing catch for a touchdown from Kronemeyer to July.
13-0, A.N. Myer leads it. And we'll await the extra point. Lawrence Panetta will try to add to the lead. 2:30 left to go in the fourth quarter. Panetta's kick up and through. It's a 14-0 Myer lead. Now it's composure time for the A.N. Myer Marauders. Time to settle down, play some good defensive football, and wait for the clock to run out.
And the key for the Myer defensive backs, don't let anybody, no matter who it is, get behind you. Keep everybody in front of you so you can keep an eye on them. And there could be no deep passes if there is. Don't worry about interceptions. Just make sure that you bat them down.
The second quarter touchdown, a 1-yard run from John Lang. And then a sweet touchdown pass from John Kronemeyer to Jamie July late in the fourth quarter has given the A.N. Myer Marauders a 14-0 lead. And quite possibly the 1995 Senior Boys Division I Football Championship.
Well, if this score holds up, I guess what they say about the 7-year itch is true. 1988 was the last year Myers won the title. Myer trying to cheat themselves out 5 yards there. I know they're up 14-0, but I don't think they want to be that generous to the Fighting Irish.
Nice run back by Nat Mastroianni, taken down by Peter Triantopoulos. Last chance time for Notre Dame. Valovich still in there at quarterback for Notre Dame. Nava and Lucetta split wide to the left. Valovich to the air. Can't find Nava. Panetta picks it off. An interception for Lawrence Panetta at the Myer 50. And the Marauders will put the offense back on the field.
Well, Panetta's done a great job on defense all day long, applying the right pressure to the right receivers. You know, it's only justice for him that he gets an interception towards the end of the game as well. And for Notre Dame, you know, what can you say? Now, what can you say about Notre Dame? They've got to throw the ball up in the air. See it on the replay, just a little bit of air underneath it. Panetta does a good job going to the ball, making the interception, and Myer gets one more chance. You'd think they'd just like to run out the ball now. I don't think they're going to be putting it up in the air, allowing Notre Dame to get any more.
Kronemeyer gives it off to Lang. Anthony Santostefano with the tackle. Lang picks up 5 on the carry and is a little winded after taking that hit.
Jim, earlier on in the game, we talked about the pressures of coming into a championship game undefeated. A lot of teams have done it before, but they get to that championship game, and if they don't get that, that season's pretty much a loss. But Myers contained their composure all game long and done an excellent job executing as they have all year, and they're going to be the Division I championship finals this year.
And you've done a pretty good job holding your composure this afternoon, too, as you watch your alma mater regain some former glory. I can tell you, I know what that feels like because I got to do it last year watching Wesleyan win another one in their string. But as we'll take another look at John Lang, that collision right there, Nick DiGaetano with the shoulder down caught Lang right in the stomach.
That's good tackling by Notre Dame. Only a couple minutes left. You're glad to see you're still in the game and they're playing the whole 48 minutes of football.
July wide to the right.
I don't think this rivalry's dead either. You know, last week they started senior boys basketball practice. I wouldn't be surprised if come the end of February we'd be announcing another game indoors between Myer and Notre Dame in basketball finals, something that's happened many times in the past few years.
And it certainly won't be forgotten because if you look up and down the roster of both teams as Vic Lou busts a big run up the middle. First down carry deep into Notre Dame territory. As I was saying, as you look up and down both rosters, there's members of both basketball teams on both football teams. Ryan Sills, Andrew Johnson for the Myer Marauders. Emilio Presti, a big part of the Fighting Irish's basketball program, and while he hasn't gotten a lot of the minutes today here in the football game, had a great season for the Irish on the receiving corps. Kronemeyer chased in the backfield. Gets away from one tackle, now chased by another. Kronemeyer rolling. Deep, down the sidelines, touchdown Myer! James Peterson with this sweet grab on the sideline. The Marauders pushed the lead to 20 with 1:06 left to go in the game.
Well, you talk about taking time off the clock with only 2 minutes left. I think Kronemeyer took about 20 seconds scrambling to the left, to the right, trying to avoid the Notre Dame defense right there. And then he finds Peterson in the end zone for yet another score.
Rory McDonald had a shot at Kronemeyer. Kronemeyer avoided that hit, then was being chased by Steve Valovich, reversed his field, picked up a block, and then found Peterson deep down the sideline. 20-0 Myer, the extra point coming up. Panetta's kick up and good. 21-0 Myer.
Okay, come here, 15.
Ball moves. I can move.
Pardon me, no, it's this way. All right, you're gonna have the 5 on the kickoff. Okay, take the convert, put it on the kickoff.
Look at the replay right here. Here's Kronemeyer going left. He gets away from number 33, Tim Ravizolo, goes to his left, finds Peterson in the end zone and makes the grab. Peterson also, you got to give credit to Peterson too for sticking with his route, trying to get rid of that defender and trying to find an open spot in the end zone to make the catch.
We mentioned James Peterson earlier in the game, not a starter for much of the season, taking the place of Andrew Johnson in today's final, playing a very good game, both blocking wise and as running his routes. picks up a touchdown pass in the championship game to push the lead to 21-0. Now it's just a matter of running out the clock.
And those are the guys that are going to win you football games too. The guys that get the headlines all year long, you expect them to do their job, but someone else has always got to step up and pick up that extra slack. Today, Andrew Johnson only played, I think it was one play and was only used as a decoy more or less. If you can use someone to fill in that spot, you're going to be a good football team, and that's what Myer was today.
Panetta kicks it away. The clock starts as Mastroianni will try to run it back. They run the reverse, give it to Nava. He's got some room, but a big hit in the middle. James Peterson coming across makes the touchdown grab, and Peterson combines with Bartlett to stuff Nava on the run back. 1 minute and 2 seconds left to go in the game. First down play for the Irish. Santo Stefano through the middle. Picking his way through tacklers, picks up a first down. Now some pushing and shoving after the whistle, and Loris Lucetta gets a flag thrown as he and Panetta
You are number 15.
had a shoving match.
That's nothing more than a frustration penalty, and with only a minute to go, the score is 21-0. You hate to see anything like that happen. You don't want anybody to get hurt. It's been a good
Number
sportsmanship
15, Notre
all throughout the
Dame.
season, all throughout the
First
game.
down. It was after the
Last
first
thing
down was made,
with
so it's still
time
first down.
winding
They pick up the first down, but the penalty will back them up near the original line of scrimmage. Valovich hands off to Sorrenti. Joe Sorrenti picks up a couple of yards. Second and 5 for Notre Dame.
Sure.
Nava's in motion. Valovich rolling right. Overthrows Nava, incomplete.
You know, Jim, with time winding down here in the final game of the high school football season this year, Myer is going to win the senior title. Last year, these two teams met in the junior final, a great game. There are some players on both squads that played in that game. Myer upset Notre Dame. They've done a great job building their program from grade 9 and 10, the junior program, building it up the way it's supposed to be built in high school football.
Valovich hands off to Santo Stefano, trying to find some room to run. He'll get taken down. Kevin Ford on the stop.
Now, they've thrown a flag too. I think two Myer guys trying to run to the sideline, too many guys on the field. I think that's going to be the call by the referee.
Flag is up.
Nine ticks left on the clock as they get this penalty call sorted out.
All right, got a legal substitution. Myer, it's accepted. We're going to have a first down.
An illegal substitution call goes against the Marauders. So they'll mark off the penalty. It's a first down, Notre Dame. Time for one, maybe two plays. Bartlett into the backfield, knocks it away from Balovich, but not before he got it. The ball handed off to Luchetta. He'll carry it around the right side. And that will do it. The 1995 Senior Boys Football Champions, the Myer Marauders. Purple Rain returns to O'Neill Street.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, it's been a long time, 7 years. And you know, they've waited a long time for this. Myer had some tough years there in high school football. Them and Notre Dame had been the powerhouse throughout the 1980s. Basketball took over there for the late 80s and 1990s. But boy, this rivalry's back, and Myer looks undefeated season this year. You can't ask for anything better. The only blemish they had was a 15-15 tie against Dennis Morris on the opening week of the season. Ever since then, they've been pretty much untouchable for a few close games. But good teams can pull out those close games, but today they just overpowered Notre Dame, 21-0 final.
Well, congratulations go out to Coach Devitt, Coach Sills, the Myer Marauders, the entire school helping celebrate this win. The Marauders 21-0 winners over the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. John Lang got things started in the second quarter, put the Marauders on the board with a 7-0 lead, his 1-yard touchdown run. No scoring until the fourth quarter. Jamie July with a touchdown pass, a deep pass from Kronemeyer, and then Kronemeyer in the late going found Peterson for another touchdown pass. 21-0. Myer wins it. And today's Player of the Game award is made possible by MT Belly's Tap and Grill House. MT Belly's 871 Niagara Street, Welland's home for big food and big fun. We'll be back in just a second as Jeff Girdat joins our Player of the Game on the Rogers Athletic Department, James Peterson of the Myer Marauders.
Okay, gentlemen, this trophy was originated here in Niagara Falls by a team called the Thunderbirds in my name. Today, you played a great game. You really did. And I think it's important that your success, you should credit your coaches. They've spent a lot of time with you. And today you will remember this game for as long as you live, because it's a big game. On behalf of the Thunderbird football team, I present this trophy to you and congratulate you on a great season. Congratulations.
Jim, can you hold this for a second? I'm joined by James Peterson, our MT Bellies Player of the Game. First of all, James, congratulations. A great win for Myer today.
Thank you. Oh, it was a hard game. I played really hard. Backup tight end, I come in to fill AJ, got hurt last weekend, and I feel great.
At halftime, it was only 7-0. Were you guys at all nervous that you couldn't score that many points against this team?
No, we had to come out hard, and we knew we had to come out hard really hard in the second half. We played hard in the beginning. We had to keep the intensity up. We just did it.
With a 14-0 lead, you got a touchdown in the fourth quarter to make it 21-0. Tell us a little bit about that. John seemed to scramble for about 15 and 20 seconds, and finally he found you in the end zone.
Yeah, well, what happened was we were running the play to the right-hand side of the field, so I'm an off man pulling the halfback over, and I seen John get into trouble, and running around to the other side of the field, so I flew, he saw me, he threw it, and that's what happened. And I got my first touchdown ever.
A great time to get it. Special teams also did a great job for you. You had a big hit on a punt return. Special teams really pinned them back in their own den and gave them poor field position all day long.
Yeah, I played really hard. I love special teams. I've done it all my life, all since I started high school football, and playing again next year, coming out again.
Any guarantees for a repeat?
Hopefully. Hopefully.
All right, we'll hold you to it. For James Peterson, we'll be back to wrap things up with Jim Gould right after this.
This is how things can look to someone with a specific learning disability, confused and jumbled. And learning disabilities affect over 2 million Canadians. Do you know someone who has this problem? Maybe a child who isn't doing as well as expected at school? Or an adult who has trouble holding a job? To find out more, contact your local chapter of the Learning Disabilities Association of Ontario, or call area code 416-487-4106. Because we can help.
Well, welcome back as we wrap things up here at A.N. Myer Secondary School. A 21-0 win for the A.N. Myer Marauders. They win the Senior Boys Division I Football Championship. A great way to end the football season, Jeff.
It really is. And Myer got off to a slow start, only winning 7-0 at the half, but they poured it on in the fourth quarter, 2 touchdowns. John Kronemeyer played a great game, but you got to give a lot of credit to the Myer defense, who shut out a very tough Notre Dame team today.
And Notre Dame, while they were soundly beaten on the scoreboard, it was only because of 2 late touchdowns. For much of this game, we were scoreless up until the second quarter and Lang's touchdown, and it wasn't until late in the fourth when Myer put those last 2 touchdowns on the board.
Yeah, Notre Dame had a lot of bad field position throughout the game, and I think that really cost them a lot. Myer was able to capitalize on that.
Well, we finally get to go from the outdoors to the indoors. We go from the football field to the hard court. We've got boys and girls basketball coming up on the athletic department.
Should be another exciting season for high school basketball. And as I said earlier, don't be surprised if you see these same 2 teams on our station a couple weeks down the road. The tip-off tournament is just less than a month away.
For Jeff Girardat, myself, Jim Gould, executive producer Mark Bennett, and all the guys who stood outside here and froze today to bring you this high school football game, thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you when the athletic department moves indoors to the hard court over the course of the next month.
Wheels keep turning, a sense of interest burning, commercial fade to black, main feature gang attack, stick that needle in, back live now watch again, off from my easy chair, off switch I wouldn't dare know. Don't leave that house tonight, someone else will make it right, no sense in being brave, means taking your own frame, and here's some money son, go get yourself a gun, never stop to contemplate, just why I'm so afraid, plague in a box. That's the news. Thanks for coming out.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of Community Magazine. I'm Kim McDonald. On this week's show, we'll take a tour of a very unique house. Derek Jansen Brown peeks through the polka dot door, and we'll hear from survivors of polio. We'll also have our regular Crime Stoppers feature and newscast from the Niagara College studios.
Hi, this is Mark Sargison, Niagara Crime Stoppers, and today I'm with Constable Tom Trojan from the Community Services Unit, and it's kind of appropriate time that we're here today because this is Crime Prevention Week, and I know you have some information that you want to share with the viewers in regards to an exciting program that's happening called the CAT program. Could you explain that to the viewers?
Yes, Mark. This week, Crime Prevention Ontario, in cooperation with us and CAA Niagara, is promoting a program, as you mentioned, called CAT, or Combat Auto Theft. And the program is designed to reduce the number of vehicles that are stolen. Every year we find that there's around 2,000 vehicles stolen in Niagara alone. And it seems like a high number, but then again, we have to consider there's 300 and some thousand, 100,000 vehicles in Niagara driving around. So 2,000 doesn't seem like an awful lot, but if it's one of your cars, it's very important. So what we've got set up is a number of promotions. Essentially with the Combat Auto Theft, the program, we're encouraging vehicle owners to get a decal for the vehicle. And the decal is actually, it says CAT on it and Combat Auto Theft. And if you don't ordinarily drive your vehicle between 1 and 5 in the morning, then we encourage vehicle owners to register for the program and place this decal on the window. And the instructions and everything explaining the program is in a kit that we give the vehicle owners when they register. Now, ordinarily, this program's been in Ontario since the spring, and ordinarily what you do is you fill out the registration form and then send that form into Crime Prevention Ontario. But during this week, Crime Prevention Week, and actually extending into early December, we've got a special registration that's going on. So if anybody is interested in registering their vehicle for the program, what they can do is pick up a registration form, which basically looks like this pamphlet I have here. And you can pick these up at any office of CAA Niagara or any division of the Niagara Regional Police Service, and that's year-round. Now, to register during Crime Prevention Week or during our special registration, what you can do is fill the form in, bring it in again to any division of the Niagara Regional Police Service, any office of CAA Niagara, or as well to any of the special displays that we're going to be having set up throughout the region. And when you bring in the registration form, what we'll do is issue a package, an envelope with the instructions, an introductory letter, and the CAT decal.
Is there any cost involved to the motorists to become part of this CAT program, Tom?
No, there's no cost involved. Obviously there's a cost for the decals and that, but
Sergeant James Vitelli, Internal Affairs, March 9th, 1995. Inquiry into officer-involved shooting. State your name for the record, please.
Rose Phillips, Detective 2nd grade.
Why don't you start at the beginning?
Thursday, 5 a.m. this morning.
All right, listen up. The word of the day is security, which means that we protect each other's butt, okay? Get them while they're hot. Good morning.
Morning, the middle of the night.
Want everybody alert and awake on this job. Clark, you double-check the address?
807 Adelaide. And we take the Park Expressway east to Orchard Lake, and we take a right at the second light onto Adelaide. And we take a northbound approach to the location, and we're gonna park just south of the residence.
All right, here's a photograph of Robert Cassins. Everybody take a good look at it.
Age 24, convicted 1988 manslaughter. Broke a bottle in a bar fight and stabbed a guy, served 6-year state pen. Paroled January 2nd this year. Then on Valentine's Day, Cassins got into another argument with a waiter this time from some restaurant. He picked up a butcher knife and stabbed him in the back and throat 6 times. Several witnesses had a positive ID. The murder weapon had his prints on it.
House belongs to his mother, Lily. All the utilities are in her name.
She works as a waitress in a coffee shop around the corner from 6 in the morning to 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Quiet this morning?
Nerves do that to me sometimes.
Beck, does anyone else live there?
No. Cassins doesn't go there that much himself either. He just uses it to sleep and change his clothes.
Sure, I was nervous. Cassins is a 2-time killer.
What was the mood of the other officers? Were they tense?
All right, listen, I have an announcement to make. Frida and I are getting married.
Oh! Hey, congratulations.
Good
Thank
for
you.
you, Mickey. That's good.
Hey, Mick, still got some lead left in that pencil? Against my better judgment, you're all invited.
When is the blessed event?
Sunday.
Sunday? This Sunday.
I don't believe in long engagements. Okay, who's got the warrant?
I've got it.
All right, Barbini, you take the front perimeter. Beck, you take the back. Phil, you hit the door. Clark, you and him back us up. All right, this is a no-knock warrant. So remember, this guy, Cassins, is armed and dangerous. Let's go get him.
What happened then?
We arrived at the location, 6:23 a.m.
So you didn't see the 2 shots fired?
No.
I thought you told Clark to take the stairs.
I did.
Well, then what was he doing in the living room?
I don't know.
Here you go, Clark.
Thanks. Everybody's all right?
Yeah. Papadakis is at the hospital getting some stitches, but
He's okay.
he's fine.
You're up.
Yeah, let me just get the rest of the paperwork. You want to sign this before we go?
State your name for the record.
Desmond Beck, detective 2nd grade.
And what was your role in serving the arrest warrant for Robert Cassins?
I was at the back perimeter.
You were outside when the shots were fired.
That's correct.
Who was he?
White male, 20 to 25 years old, approximately 5'11", 150 pounds.
You
You never succeeded in apprehending the suspect fleeing the scene, did you?
No.
You gonna call Ann?
No, not until after I talk to the telly.
Well, might be on the news or something, you know? Maybe you should call her.
Yeah.
You want me to call her?
Could you do that?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Costa Papadakis, detective first grade. What was your role in serving the arrest warrant for Robert Gassens?
I was first in the door.
Why'd you change positions?
I heard something. I went for it.
You didn't tell Detective Clark?
No time. It was a gut thing.
You ever consider your gut could be wrong?
Too many doors. Doors are bad.
Police! Hey, hold it!
So at the time of the shooting, you were in pursuit of... Who the hell knows? So you didn't get him?
What I got was 15 stitches and a rabies shot. Is there a problem?
Well, there's not necessarily a problem. I'm just trying to determine if it was a necessary shooting.
Look, you go after a badass like that, you're locked and loaded. You're amped, man. You're pumped.
That's my point.
Hey, killer. Got the bag. I didn't think you had it in you. Grow up, Doc.
Sorry, Jim, you all right?
Phillips. Uh-huh. Mickey.
Yeah.